Among the many questions that are asked of GTAs or by GTAs includes what should be in the syllabus. It's really important that as you're constructing your syllabus that you clearly notify your students of any classroom expectations, that you do encourage orderly and productive classroom conduct, that you do enable revision of the syllabus during the semester. However, as was dictated in an earlier module, you want to make sure that any and all changes occur no less than 2 weeks prior to the deadline. It's important to clearly set forth a policy should an instructor be absent or tardy and what the student's role then would be. It's important to tell the students of their rights and responsibilities in obtaining disability accommodations, and built into the syllabus needs to be something that addresses directly academic integrity violations, including plagiarism, as well as making sure to help students understand what their obligations are or what your obligations are as far as Title IX reporting. Make sure within the syllabus that you talk about withdrawals and how that affects a student both academically as well as financially. As well, make sure to set forth the policy on credit hours and the amount of work the student will have to do for the course. Make sure to clearly talk about the policy on credit hours and any type of work that a lab might bring for the student. And then as well, how to address sexual harassment in either web-based or web-assisted courses. One of the things that would be very important to have in your syllabus is to prevent the use of cell phones, smartphones, or other mobile devices within the classroom, to regulate computer use in the classroom, which, by the way, it is your prerogative as to whether or not to allow laptops systems to be used in the classroom. As well, to make sure that you clearly set forth a policy about student absenteeism or tardiness, and whether or not you plan to use a plagiarism protection program in your class for work that has been submitted by the students. Please understand, the syllabus is a binding contract between you and your students. And so any discrepancies that might occur between you and your students in understanding of what is expected of them will be brought before any of the administrative personnel, and they will first look to what is in your syllabus as to whether or not it will be held accountable for the student. Among the various time-saving strategies are the following. Avoid marking all of the errors in a paper. You have a tremendous amount of experience and can have a lot of skills well and above that of the student. And so please make sure that as you're going through that you don't just mark every single problem, and instead that you go through and identify errors on the first page and then make them responsible for finding subsequent errors on pages that follow. Talk to the students about an error analysis checklist that will allow them to keep track of the various errors that they make. Make sure that you are using summative feedback and rubrics on all final drafts. Students will rarely, okay, never, revise a final paper after a grade's been given, unless that is a part of the course and the assignment as stated in the syllabus. It's good to use an informal system for quick feedback, as well use of peer review groups in order to provide students opportunity to give feedback back on their assignments can be a very large time-saving strategy on the part of the GTA. Using a rubric and evaluation grid will also help you plug in numbers and scores in a very quick and easy manner. And if you are handwriting comments on a paper, make sure that you develop a symbol system so that you will be able to very quickly and easily mark through without a large amount of time-taking tasks. When you're asking questions of students, classroom observation research shows that teachers will typically wait less than 1 second for a student to respond to a question. And so a tip that would be of great benefit would be to increase the amount of time between asking this question and having students respond to that question. And typically, it would be wise to wait between 1 to 5 seconds. This wait time is a very powerful tool as it creates a time where the students are asking themselves the question whether they've been called upon or not. In fact, when you do ask a question, don't start it with a student's name. Instead, ask the question and then pause before proceeding to call on a student to answer the question so that the students don't turn it off or turn off the question since their name hadn't been called. Active learning is a very important process that really helps students develop a deeper understanding of content as they work through and reflect upon the material being presented. And real quick, active learning is any type of learning that students do during a classroom session other than just simply passively listening to a lecture. And it is up to the instructor to select suitable active learning strategies, and several resources have been provided for you on the website. When you have students that do not rise to the levels of expectations that you have for them, make sure that you are going through and using the forms for early intervention reporting. It opens up a few weeks after the semester begins, and the survey can come from the Center for Academic Retention and Enrichment Services, and it allows you to be able to go through and see your students and inform the center about students that may be at risk. You can, of course, report students until the end of the semester, and to access this report, make sure you go to the faculty tab of the My Memphis website. Boundaries between the GTA and students must be clear and communicated. On the very first day of class, make sure that you adhere to the university's policies and your individual classroom rules as set forth in your student or in your course syllabus. Don't make special concessions for students, and make sure to always keep the relationship that you have between yourself and your students strictly professional.